Was it a conscious effort on your part then to be a little bit more implicit in your writing, to be what more or a little bit less abstract?
I don't. It wasn't really conscious actually. It was like a shift in. I just felt like my writing was different, which kind of at the start really worried me because I thought, I guess with the first album I had a way in which my brain was working, in which I was writing in kind of a similar way, but not obviously the subject matters would change and the style would change throughout that, but it felt like everything was written in a similar way. And then when it came to the second album, it was less about kind of the imagery or like not even hiding things, but sort of things being, I guess, a metaphor for something else, and it was more like, this is the thing. So I don't know, it wasn't a conscious thing. I think I was just writing, I guess, in that way where it felt more like a direct kind of conversational form of speaking rather than a poetic one, I guess. I don't know.
So you don't really know why this change in songwriting style is kind of just...
No.
I mean, I think
maybe I've changed.
Chime in on things. I think Elena has definitely changed. I think that there's a lot more confidence in her, and it's. I think and part. I think I like to think that that's sort of why we also picked that title, Not to Disappear, is a bit more of a fighting kind of title in terms of, it's more of a statement, it's more of an intent than, for example, If You Leave, which is more dependent on someone else. It's just bolder and a bit more courageous in the sense that it's just being okay with just saying something out loud than sort of, coating it in poetry and imagery and those kind of things.
Has the success in a way been part of this confidence then? For not just for you, Elena, but for the band as a whole?
I think in terms of as musicians, it's definitely really nice to have people cheering you while you're playing music. That's definitely. I mean, you can't
rather than booing it.
Yeah, exactly. You can't deny that. I mean, after that, I don't know. Yeah, I think we've grown a bit more comfortable in our skin in general, like our stage skin and our skin as people. It's a good question. I haven't really thought about that much, to be honest.
Because it can go either way. Either it can get you a lot of pressure, or you can kind of feel confident.
It's you know what? I think like maybe a few weeks ago, before we had played our first shows in a year, I would have maybe been on the side of, I don't know, I'm not sure about this. But just playing shows again has really, for me personally, built up my confidence, just because before that I was like, can I actually do this? I don't even remember what it feels like to be on stage, and which teaches us that we probably shouldn't take that long of a break to make a record. But it was.
It needed to be that.
No, it needed to be that way, totally. But maybe do a couple of cheeky gigs here and there. So
cheeky ones, only cheeky ones.
Only cheeky ones. And then I don't know if you want to add that as a way to.
I don't know. It's a difficult question. I feel like a lot of things happen in 2 years, and in a way I think that it would be hard to not involve what's happened with the band in how we've grown as people, because the band has been the last 2 years. Like, do you know what I mean? We've kind of like, it's been the biggest part of our lives has been kind of being in this band and going on touring, and so I guess that all of that definitely has to have an effect on who we are as people. But hopefully in a whether it's positive or negative, I think it's positive, hopefully, but it feels like it's, I don't know, it feels like there's definitely maybe even just more of an understanding of like what we feel comfortable doing and what we don't feel comfortable doing as well. I think kind of we're just learning how to kind of be in this thing that we're in, like feeling even just more comfortable being in it. I think we were never the performing types. I think we use, it's not really something that we've ever really felt like this is our, being on stage is our thing. But with every show you feel a greater sense of like, oh no, this is not, it's fine, it's not really terrifying, it's just slightly terrifying, but it's not like, it's actually enjoyable. So I think gradually it will, work.
Yeah, and it's the same, like it goes with obviously playing a lot of shows, but also kind of going back into making a new album and kind of thinking, we've done this before, and there are definitely some little mistakes we made, well, not mistakes, but things that we did while making the first album that we think we should do differently, or and I guess that could be seen as confidence in a way, just kind of having a better understanding of how to approach recording, and then how to approach arranging the songs for another set of hundreds of concerts again for the next year or so.
And now that you have played a couple of shows, what have you noticed, not only about the songs, but about your own performance as well?
Going back to it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Again, as Igor said, when you haven't played those songs in a long time, you don't know if you can face it again. You just kind of, you don't know if you're going to have to start from scratch in terms of confidence on stage, or if the audience somehow you just have to kind of just you don't know if they're going to be expecting something new straight away, if they kind of just are happy to just see you perform and be yourself. But I think I think I'm living it pretty well.
I think I struggled actually with the first couple of shows back after not playing for a year. I really struggled. I found it very. I just think I realised how strange it is to stand in front of people and play. And I think also we did festivals. So kind of first came back and we did festivals, and I think I was just like, I've actually forgot. I actually forgot how to play sometimes, and that was really like. It felt like the worst thing in the world for that show. I was like completely just a bag of nerves. But then it's so strange how you then ease back into playing live, and how then it becomes like, oh no, this is great. But the first two shows I was absolutely
totally.
It was terrifying actually.
You just have to sort of hope that you pull through.
Yeah, but it's we're actually very lucky that we have some very understanding crowds, especially when it comes to the point where I'm like, sorry guys, don't know how to play this actually. I should, but I've forgotten. So yeah, that's we're very lucky for that anyway.
And then the last question then for you, Elena, because you write the lyrics, is kind of revisiting these songs or delving back into these songs for the live shows, is that an emotional thing then, to go through everything again?
I think it's strange because some nights it can be more so than others. I think in terms of like how I see things, or how I've sort of grown to put things in order, is that it kind of goes from a very real, very sometimes sort of raw place, and then goes from that into lyrics, and then from that we then make something that we love, which is apart from that, which is obviously still carries that emotional content, but isn't that exact memory, because now it's something else. And so I think that more often than not, it's more about just us kind of creating a beautiful sound, and actually it's and channeling an emotion, but rather than it being about me standing in front of people saying, this is what happened, this is who this person was, or whatever it is. And so often it's kind of a different thing, whereas if I was recounting a memory, I'd probably be very upset by it, but it's kind of I feel like it's a different thing. But then some nights, there's some shows where I've been a bit of a wreck, but that's usually to do with something triggering the actual memory. So if there's someone in the audience or something like that, where it's suddenly like, oh shit, and then then that's when it becomes really hard to play a song, because you associate that with that human. Whereas usually it's like, it's, you know, it's still a sad experience, because, you know, the lyrics obviously are very personal, but it's different. I don't know how to really, I'm not really sure if I'm explaining that very well.
No,
but, do you know what I kind of mean?
Sometimes it's easier to separate yourself, and sometimes you just have a reminder.
Yeah, and also what's lovely is that then, you know, when you're playing live, you're sharing that with other people, and I think that it becomes like this kind of group interaction. It's less, I don't know, it's less about like...
Yeah, it becomes a shared thing.
A shared thing.
Group therapy.
Yeah.
What was the best reaction you ever had to a song of yours?
What's the best reaction? Well, we always have a lovely reaction. We always have a lovely reaction to Youth. That tends to be our sing-along number, which is great. And I think we've had some really lovely shows, and a great reaction from all our crowds. I think there was one show where I had a bit of a moment, and I had to walk off stage for a bit because I wasn't very happy. I was a bit, you know, I got a bit emotional, and I think that sort of coming back on stage, I felt like that was the most terrible thing in the world. Like going off stage, I was like, I've left the stage. This is really embarrassing. You know, this is like, people are going to be like, where's she going? What is she doing? Why has she got so emotional? But it was like that feeling of when I got back on stage and everyone was like, I just remember hearing people cheering, and I was like, oh my God, okay, I'm going to be fine. And it's just a strange thing. It's kind of, you know, you forget that, like, I don't know, I think I sometimes feel like actually these people are here, and we're all here together, and that actually it's not as, I shouldn't feel like embarrassed about the fact that I've got upset by something. I don't know. That was a really special moment anyway. I felt really like very supported by that room full of people. So yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
you.
Cheers.